What's up, everybody? This is the Shakedown podcast. My name is Justin Allen. This is Walter Allen, and I'll let these two new guys here introduce themselves.
I'm Derek King. I'm a new apprentice for Long Spur. I own King Sky Dogs.
I'm Jared McKinney, and this is my second year with Long Spur, and I have Long Spur's middle ground.
Well, it's good to have you guys on. So you have a drone and a dog, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the drone.
So I got a Matrice 30T. This is my first year running it, but I thought it would be a good
Addition.
addition with having a new dog to kind of boost my confidence at the same time. So in a way of, like, I would like to fly the drone first, which that's up to the hunters, however they want to do it. But I'd like to fly it. If I find a deer, then get my dog on it.
Save you a lot of walking.
Yeah. I think the drone is good and the dogs are good. What kind of dog you have?
I got a Teckle. That's what the hunting community, well, I guess you'd know, the wire-haired dachshund.
Yep, wired.
Oh, gotcha.
It's a lot like Bo.
Oh, yeah. So you guys did some mock tracks today, right?
Yep.
About a mile of them.
How was that?
Pretty good. I think I definitely got some work to do, but I think he's coming along great.
Yeah. How old is he?
I just turned a year a month ago. So.
Oh, yeah. He's another year. He'll be ready to rock for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely knows what he's doing.
Yep. What's your buddy got down there?
I've got a 2-year-old chocolate lab female, Lady May, and I'm currently training a German wired-haired pointer from Shon Butlers line of GWPs.
Oh, gotcha. You say this is your second year?
Yeah, this is my second year.
So how many tracks did you get to do last year?
Roughly 30 tracks.
30? That's good. That's good. How many did you find?
We found 10, and we've had, I think, 3 come back on camera.
Okay. That's good.
That's great.
Have you used your drone yet?
Yeah, but not one time for a guy out in Kentucky this year. So it's just the Kentucky early season. The guy wanted to find it, but that deer came back on camera. So
Right.
just a lot of leaf coverage. Like right now, it's so hard to find stuff.
Yeah.
And I say this as a metaphor, but literally, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. Like,
Well, I would think with the temperatures being so hot and the canopy of all the trees, it just makes it tough. I had a thermal drone last year too, and we struggled with doing much with it until it got later in the season for sure. I don't know. Sure. I guess what time of the year do you think that you lose enough leaves and temperature for it to be the best use?
so Shon Butler, he did this at what was that last show he was at?
West Virginia Deer Hunters Association.
Yeah, he did a thing on this, and he put out what he wants for the regulations, like if West Virginia ever legalized them. Because right now, Ohio's kind of just like, yeah, no offense, but like free reign, literally.
Mhm.
Like I say no offense because, you got to have some laws with it, right? He thinks that October 15th should be the starting date, which I should pull all that up and like show you or whatever, but October 15th should be the starting date. And he also thinks that it should be under like an outfitter, because you got a lot of guys right now that just get a thermal drone and they think, I'm a tracker now. Like I can find anybody's deer, but
Right.
they don't even go to the hit site and, be able to even give the hunter the satisfaction of saying, like,
They went this way.
right,
Here's blood.
or it's not going to be a hit deer. Like they don't even look at the blood. If a hunter,
Blood looks like muscle blood.
Well, that's something that Walter and I have talked about with the drone and the dog, because, I like both, right? But everybody with a dog, it takes a little bit more work, a little more training. Most people are hunters and outdoorsmen. They spend more one-on-one time with it. Anybody can go buy a drone and throw it in the air and think they can find something with it. I'm not sure what his idea is on like not being allowed to use a drone in West Virginia until October 15th.
yeah. So for tracking, because that's all it'll be legalized for. It's just recovering deer, like not anything else. But he's saying by October 15th or 14th, the leaf coverage will be off enough to where we could use it. Until then, you really should just use a dog, because, Like, yeah, there's going to be slim instances where maybe I could use a drone, but
It's definitely different scenarios. You're talking cornfields, wide open fields, things like that. The drone could still cover it before then.
he is also talking about West Virginia, so we're limited on like your cornfields are going to be like right along the river bottom. So really, with us being mountainous and having a lot of wood coverage, then I think it would be probably beneficial. But like you say, I mean, I see, in certain scenarios, like, okay, maybe we can fly the drone here, but that's the thing. And
You can always take the dog.
Always take
right,
the dog,
yeah, that's true.
And if you fly up there and you see him laying there, most likely the dog would have found it.
Right.
Yep. So what do you think you're going to prefer, the drone or the dog?
The dog tenfold already. I mean, I love the drone. Don't get me wrong. And we've actually already used the drone for trying to kind of promote a little bit too. Like I made some videos and actually followed Jared on his track, and he followed me on my track. So I think there's like other sides that people don't see to it. Like if I could, which I don't see that I have that capability yet unless I'm missing something, but if I could lay out a line and say like, all right, walk this line and then walk this track, and then it's like visual proof on like a video if some hunter wants to say like, how good is your dog?
How good is your dog? Yeah.
Right. Like I've got aerial video of me walking or running my dog on the same track that I just videoed us running the line of the track. Like
On like a mock track is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think you could do that. Yeah.
It won't be long. You're going to have a stack of actual deer pictures that your dog found.
Yeah, I hope so.
Season's almost here.
So have you done anything else with your drone, like deer inventory or?
So that's another thing that I wanted to offer even is like a limited price. So Jared, his dog Lady May, just found a stud buck in Kentucky, like 170-inch, like monster buck. And he didn't want to use the drone. So Jared was talking about like, it was open coverage. The guy said he would have never found he didn't think we would find it with the drone because it was so wooded, but where the deer died, it was open.
Wide open.
So what we did after he was done, they wanted to get some good pictures. The guy was from Alabama? Yeah, Alabama. We did some aerial video because they're putting together like compilation videos of all their hunts and stuff. And I did like a full panoramic around him and then zoomed around him and stuff. But I've been trying to get him that video, but I think my SD card's about corrupted, so I'm trying to get all that recovered. But I would like that to be an option, even if you don't fly the drone, like some good video, like everybody's doing YouTube now. Like,
oh man, I got video of my Indiana deer and a big deer I killed in Illinois years ago, and I was driving down a gravel road and the buck's in the back, and we're just flying the drone behind us. It's like
that'd be really neat.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Cool. Now the drone's got all kinds of options for sweet footage for sure.
Yeah.
The thermal just makes it even better, I guess.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's one thing I haven't got into much. So when we were on that track, the first one we did this year, I was picking up rocks like crazy. I need to get better with the adjusting the temperature for different thermals because, I'm trying to pick out a deer in a bed full of rocks that are all hitting at like 70, 80 degrees, whatever.
Well, that'll drastically change once the temperature drops a little bit, yeah. So this is your first year tracking, right? Dogs and drone,
right?
And it's his second year tracking, right?
And how old's your dog?
My lab is 2. She just turned 2 in June.
2 years old. And how old's yours?
1 year old.
Year old. He did really good for being a year old.
Yeah, I think
it was hot and dry out there today,
which is the worst.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah,
and one track was 19 hours old.
And that's the first 19-hour track I've ever had him on. I'm working up to 12 hours now. So, like,
and it had a lot of deer, and a fresh deer sign on it. Started at the corn pile.
That's going to be my hardest. I've talked about this I've asked several hunters. That's going to be my hardest thing this year is trying to decipher when my dog jumps off on a live deer because, man, he'll take a live deer and just go with it.
Not only when they shift gears, you know something changed.
Something changed. Either it's dead or it's another deer.
Jump it. That last track when we found the bed right there in the 4-wheeler trail, Bo has a hard time turning uphill on the track. He just doesn't like to turn uphill. And I meant to tell you that I thought a four-wheeler came through there and jumped it, and that's why it ran to the top of that hill.
It was definitely a different tracking style, but I liked running your dog though. Like the how he would, I mean, he knew he would continue out the track, and he would kind of keep the same demeanor, but then he would pick his head up and look back, and you were like, okay, he's circling back around. He's circling himself. Like
Around.
You didn't have Buck with you.
No, I didn't have Buck. He took Bo. Yeah. Bo's doing really good.
So, how long have you been hunting?
Oh, my whole life. Like, they pretty much had a rifle in my hand about as soon as you could put it in my hand. I remember I was like, I don't remember, 5 or 6 years old, and they thought they could start me out on a 243. Well, I didn't even really know how to use it. So I put my eye completely up to the scope, and I
Scoped you.
Whammy.
Oh, yeah. Dropped the gun, didn't even care about the gun. It fell down on the ground, and I had a big old ring around my eye. And then they let me shoot one with a 22. So I got my first doe that year with a 22, and then it was all downhill after that. They set me up with a 223, and
Nice.
been hunting ever since.
So, what made you want to get into the tracking with the dog and drone? And
So I'll be honest with you, I was hesitant. I think Shon and I think Jared could attest to this. Like, I didn't necessarily want to get into it. So Jared got into it, and I thought, I don't want to give up all my time for, hunting, because I love hunting so much. Like, but I did some coon hunting back in the day, and I moved into a house by myself, and I wanted a dog anyways. So I was like, well, might as well get one that I can
utilize. Yeah.
Right. And Paul Priest had some, and he said, if it's going to go to a tracking home, I'll give it to y'all for $1,000. Like, he was asking $2,000 for everybody else, but
That's great.
right. And so I got him, and then I started in tracking and like realizing how much I actually liked it compared to, like, you can kind of control your dog and see what your dog's doing compared to a coon hunt where you just let your dog go, and the more experience you get with your dog, like, they kind of train themselves on their own. But
It's a
where
team hunt.
right. Whereas on lead, like, I can see what my dog's doing and work with him from that. Like, I think it's a completely different way of hunting. But Jared started it out, and he was on night shift with me, and hearing all his tracks and how pumped he was about it, like, it was.
You can't get enough.
Oh man, it's so much fun.
It's so rewarding to
Oh,
find that big buck with the dog.
Yep.
You go out there, and they was at the highest of highs when they shot it, and then they can't find it, so now they're at the lowest of lows, and you're their last resort, and then your dog finds it, and boom, they're right back up there again.
Yeah.
You know, they're your best friend. It's pretty fun.
It's also nerve-wracking, too, I will say. Like, so the 170-incher, I could see, I just shot a 170-inch buck. Like, he's questioning the dog and everything.
Oh yeah, he just wants his deer.
Yeah, and I'm over here. He's asking me questions, which this is kind of funny. You should tell the story, Jared, about the broadhead.
All right, so we started at the shot site, and Lady May takes me on this line. We find the broadhead. I pull her off her original line to get back to look at the broadhead. We had the gut check wipes. I wiped the broadhead. It didn't show green, so I tell the guy, I don't think you hit the guts. It did not pass through the intestinal tract, according to this wipe. So I keep on tracking, and they keep on saying they smell gut on this thing. Well, they hand the broadhead to Derek. He said, do you smell gut on this thing? He said, oh, yeah, definitely. I smell gut, the gut all day on this thing. So here my buddy here is supposed to be helping me out was telling all these guys, yeah, this thing definitely passes the gut. So they, I think they was doubting me from the get-go.
You doubting bringing me along now, Walter? I can't take him. He's gonna be telling the hunters that deer's dead.
It happens all the time. I've taken a bunch of people.
I don't know.
Did you find that deer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well,
Was it hitting the gut?
no, it was not. It was hit probably liver all day.
So they wasn't smelling anything.
It wasn't smelling that. I could smell something on it, but it wasn't good.
Meat.
I probably had COVID. Sinuses are messed up.
It happens a lot.
The more tracks you do, the more you get to the point of like you trust your dog. That's what Walter always says.
Trust your dog.
Trust it. If he's going one way, you just gotta believe in the dog.
They don't know how to lie.
Nah, they don't find it. Chances are it's not dead.
And the more you do, the more you'll be able to read him. The easier he is to read. He's already showing you the signs when he's not going the right way. He stops, looks back. That's a pretty good sign when he's looking back.
Yeah, we worked a good bit with it. I like the idea you said about, Jared taking my dog, me taking Jared's dog on a track that we've laid. So that makes sense 100%.
You'll be able to tell right when he's tracking. You'll be able to read him.
Right.
So what about you, Jared? What got you into it?
Well, actually, they're probably 21. I had stuck a pretty good 9-point, and I knew I'd made a bad shot, and I backed out, and then went in the next day, found some blood, took up the track. I tracked probably 600, 700, 800 yards, and I didn't come up with the deer, so I started looking for deer trackers, and actually came across Walter's name and texted him, and kind of told him what had happened, what blood I was seeing, how far I went, and he was like, "Man, your deer's gonna be alive," and I was
Skeptical.
I was very skeptical.
It's hard to convince.
And
It's a hard one to swallow.
so without him even coming out, he's able to tell me, yeah, this deer's going to live based off of how far you went. You didn't bump the deer for sure. So, sure enough, a couple of days later, he's back on camera. And I told my wife, I was like, I've got to get whatever he's got. I mean, I don't know what superpower it is, but this guy just told me that my deer's going to be alive, and he's not even stepped foot on the property. So that kind of kick-started it, and then we bought a chocolate lab. It was supposed to be my wife's dog, and I started messing with her. She was showing interest, and then next thing you know, it's no longer her dog, it's my dog, and it's been like that ever since.
So do you guys know why Walter started tracking?
Not heard that story.
Well, he can tell you that story.
I wounded a big one.
About 160-inch 10-point.
Big giant 10-point showed up on Halloween. And I think it was November 1st I went in. I checked my camera.
What was that? What year was that? Had to be 2008. Yeah.
I think. So I went in there and, what year is it now? It would have been 7. Would have been 2007.
Yeah.
So I wounded that buck, and I'd tracked it up over the hill a good ways, I don't know, a couple hundred yards, and there wasn't a whole lot of blood. And I'd shot it almost straight down right between the shoulder blades. So I'd lost the track, and it was headed towards the neighboring property, which was our taxidermist. And I went over and talked to Bill Mason. Asked Bill, have you seen this buck? And he said, no, we'd never seen that buck. He said, take your little Jack Russells out there and find it. And I had no idea about a tracking dog. No, I'd never heard of a tracking dog. And he said, well, over in Africa, they use Jack Russells to find all their wounded game. They just turn them loose, and they run down the trail and find it. So I had 2 Jack Russells at home. He knew I had them for squirrel dogs. So I took them out there, and they went running down the trail, but I didn't know nothing. I didn't know when they was tracking. I didn't even have them on a leash. I just turned them loose, let them rip. And we didn't find it. We didn't find much, But I wanted that superpower, so I was convinced that little dog was my superpower.
Yep.
And I wanted the best little dog there ever was. So that you was allowed to kill 4 does that year. And I shot 4 does 4 weekends in a row, and took the little dog and put him on the track. Every one I'd shoot at, he was waiting in the truck. So the first time I went down and got him, took him to the deer, and the deer hadn't went very far. I just didn't go near it, let him find it. And he didn't chew on it much. He didn't pay much attention to it. So the second deer went a little further, but I still seen it go down. So I went to the truck, and I got Sonny, and I took him up there, and he was paying a little more attention to it, put him on the shot and let him follow it. He went right to the deer. So the third one, it ran off. So I go to the truck, and I open the truck door, and when I do, Sonny bails out. Gone. He takes off. And he knew where my corn pile was, so he ran to the corn pile, and then hit the track, and I had to go track the deer in order to find the dog. And when I got there was a huge pile of hair. So the 4th weekend, I shot another one. I think I'd shot one. Somebody had shot one. And I put Sonny right on it, and man, he burned it up. And from then on, I had a deer dog. And at the first year, I tracked 15 deer for my buddies. The next year, I tracked 25. The next year, I tracked 40. And then when that year,
40 was a big deal. I remember that.
it was huge. I found 29 out of 40, and 11 or 10 of those deer were back on camera before the year was over. So I only left 1 out of 40 that we didn't know what happened to. And then it just steadily grew all the way. Each year kept getting more and more. And I used to track for $20. I'd drive an hour and a half or 2 hours for $20. We would track daylight to dark, and oftentimes I would turn around and go back the next day. He didn't know when to quit. You know, they'd see the deer, we'd jump it, keep pushing it, and we thought it's got a hole in it, it's got to die sometime, you know, but that ain't the case.
No. Some of your longest tracks have been mine.
Yeah, they've been miles.
Miles, yeah. Then
There was nothing at the end of them.
No. They were still alive, but.
They showed back up.
And what's the most you tracked in a year?
125.
That's a bunch.
Found 75.
So how do your dogs, you said you don't do mock tracks, right?
Never till this year, right?
Until this year.
So how well do your dogs, like, after the whole season's up and then you start season, how well do they jump back in it? I mean, is it like they never forgot it?
Like they never missed a day.
Really?
Yep.
That's nuts.
They don't forget.
I think it's a huge difference, though, when you're talking about people that do it and they track 10 or 15 versus, you know, older tracking 70, 80, 90 a year.
That is a big difference. Buck gets a lot of practice.
I mean, Buck's tracked 500 or so.
Yeah, getting close to that.
So, yeah, I don't think he's ever going to forget how to do it.
When you track 125 in a year, it adds up quick.
Yeah.
Took him training wheels off fast.
That's
Yeah. How old is Buck now?
8. He'll be 8 this year.
How old was Sonny when he passed away?
Sonny got that brain tumor when he was 11.
11. Sonny was
Bear lived to be 16.
Yeah.
Almost 16.
You got to get another Jack Russell?
As soon as Buck turns 10, I'll probably get another Jack Russell.
Mm-hmm.
My wife will kill me, but
What do you notice different about the wire-haired versus the Jack Russells?
so far he doesn't overrun the track as much.
The Jack Russell don't, or
The wire hair,
Really?
the tackle, he's a little lower to the ground. I think he's got a little more better nose.
A little slower.
He's a little slower,
Yeah.
and he stays on track a little easier. You know, the first couple of years with the Jack Russell, you know, I'd restart, and you go ways, and you marking points, you mark to the last blood, and then you overrun the track, and you come back and restart, and I'd walk miles and miles, and I found a lot of deer, but I did a lot of walking, and a lot of people would have give up. But as he gets older, now Buck, you know, he just don't go if it ain't the right way. I mean, he pretty well stays right on. But the tackle from the beginning, he pretty well stayed on track. I mean, he just a little slower, a little easier to read. He reads a lot more like Buck. I've had a few Jack Russells that are just hard to read. They want to go, go, go. They're so amped up, and especially in the beginning when they're not tired, it's just hard to tell.
Hard to get them slowed down a little
Yeah.
bit.
that's kind of why I wanted the drone too. So Shon put out that he wanted to start that Sky Dogs division. So I got to thinking about it, and I was like, I got a pretty young dog. Like, I just wanted that double verification on me, because I feel like that's a lot of
people won't turn you down. They find out you have a drone and a dog. Why would they call anyone else?
But you're still not allowed to use both, right? At the same time?
no, not. I can't, like, say if me and Jared were gone, I can't let Jared's dog go off down in there.
And run the drone.
Right.
Now, there are some states you can.
What about if we find the deer? Now you're allowed to fly over and take pictures, and
Yeah.
after the deer's recovered, it's
Yeah, because you're not
track.
you're not tracking anymore after that now.
You do have to get consent, like, from the people that say, like, if
Hunt.
he's holding the deer right there, right? I can't fly over people as a part of the 107. It's not like a state law thing or anything like that, but just to be able to fly.
But as long as they say it's okay.
Right.
Right. And we were talking earlier about how, you know, there's people that complain about flying over public land and whatever, and with drones and scouting deer and getting mad. And we were talking about the airspace and people not owning it. But you said that in your 107, technically,
Yeah.
you could fly over property, but you can't look at that property, or I don't know how to describe it, without permission from the landowner.
Yeah. So I'm supposed to, before I even go on somebody else's property, okay, it may be airspace, but I don't know where people are in that airspace. So say if somebody's in a tree stand and I'm flying right over top of them, I can't go into their airspace unless I have their permission. Like there can't even be people out hunting when I fly a drone over because of the unknown fact of, the slim chance that it would come down and hit somebody.
Land on somebody.
Right.
Makes you liable.
Right. That's all a part of the 107, which that's another thing that Shon saying, which that's a federal regulation. Like we have to have that. The FAA requires that size drone.
Any kind of business-related drone work, you have to have it. Yeah. Real estate tracking, any kind of that.
Yeah.
You have to have it, yeah.
Which you have the map on there too. So one thing I would like to see is the bad thing with the map. Yeah, the landowner should know, okay, you're starting to go over into that. I wish Onyx would
Integrate
right
with like DJI mapping.
Right.
That would be cool because then you'd be able to see the property lines as you're flying it.
That would be great.
Right.
I feel a lot better about that.
My guess is that will happen pretty soon. Yeah. Onyx is trying to integrate with as much as possible. So
Yeah, I like Onyx. I use it religiously when I'm tracking. I showed you my map.
Yeah.
It's about covered up.
It's not.
The high is covered up. I'm going to start on West Virginia this year.
So you used your drone in Kentucky. I'm not familiar at all with anything Kentucky law related. So what's the laws like in Kentucky with the dogs and the drone? Like it's still on leash and
Yeah, the dogs, it's on lead. I'm not 100% on the drone. Derek would have to speak to the drone side of it.
There was something else different about the drone though too, wasn't there? I remember Shon was talking about
Like spotlight. You're not allowed to use a spotlight, maybe.
night. There might be different regulations, which we were all doing it in day until it got dusk. So
I mean, you don't have to have an outfitter license in Kentucky like you do West Virginia to do it, right?
right.
So it's more like Ohio. Like you just have to have a Kentucky hunting license.
Right.
You have to have your 107 anywhere you go, obviously.
No regulations for running the dog? No certifications or just buy a deer tag?
We don't even have to have a license or anything to run the dogs.
In Kentucky, you don't?
Just go help them.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow, that's awesome.
I think it's the same for Ohio too. When they come to Ohio, you don't have to have a license.
So Ohio, in order to pursue any game,
You have to have a license.
a ballot. You have to have bought a tag. It can be a punch tag, but you have to have bought a deer tag.
I'm glad you told me this week before seeing it.
I thought
But
my uncle just about got a ticket one time. Yep, because he had a hunting license, but he didn't have the deer tag. You can't pursue. You can't even go help somebody get their deer out.
Yeah, technically, with the
You're not
dog,
supposed to
drone,
touch.
nothing. Yeah.
I definitely got to.
Maybe after that's been found and field tagged, but you can't help them track it and all that without a tag. You can't pursue any game without a tag.
I didn't know that.
And Ohio has the no trespassing law. Unless your parents own it or you own it, you must have written
Permission, yeah.
It doesn't have to be any trespassing signs, no purple paint, nothing.
No, that is nice about West Virginia, though. West Virginia, like,
So,
purple paint can mark.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
well, not only that, but if it's not marked, posted, gated, or fenced, you can go. Like,
And if you get caught, they can tell you to leave,
but that's all they can do on the first time.
but they can't give you a ticket.
But then you got the other side of it. You have to have outfitter's license and bond and all that stuff to be able to track in West Virginia,
That's right.
which makes it good with Shon and Long Spur.
How did you get hooked up with Shon?
Mine was through Jared 100%.
How did you hear about him?
Well, I just seen some stuff on Facebook, and I started talking to him and pestering him to death about training and all that, and then wanting to join and getting tested. But it was kind of late in the year. I didn't join till around September last year, and by that time, I didn't have time to do any testing. So he just flat out told me, "Hey, I'm a straight shooter. Do you think your dog has it?" I'm like, "Well, my dog's done X, Y, Z." He said, "Well, we'll just throw you to the wolves and see how you do." So,
Nice. That's
so
how you do it.
yeah, so I'm appreciative that he allowed me to join without not knowing a whole lot about me, and so far it's been fairly successful at it. So
That's great.
Yep. So we found 10 last year. We found 1 this year. We've been on three tracks this year, 2 returned back on camera, and then we found out 170.
Well, that's basically 100%.
I'm not trying to jinx it.
Did you go look for the elk?
No, I had to work that day, so I wasn't able to make it down that way.
That'd been nice.
Yeah, you never tracked an elk, have you, with a dog?
Not yet.
But it's bound to happen.
I hope.
The
Sean's been really good to us, too.
oh,
We've talked
great.
about through the years, and he's always been really good to us.
He's got a good program. He's got
really helped.
a lot of good ideas with what he's doing, and definitely going to help a lot of people find their deer.
Yeah. I wish a lot more people could see some of the inside stuff that we do. All the
I agree.
the talking back and forth and helping each other. And
I've never been social media related when it comes to deer tracking until this year. I've always called Justin and my buddies. I'm like, hey, look at this picture. What do you think of this?
yeah,
So now being able to talk to you guys is really going to be awesome.
It's definitely a big network. It's grown a lot over the years, that's
Has
for sure. I don't know, I would love to do like a whole big convention and just get everybody there and do about 100 of these. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah. Figure out how we can do the world's largest podcast. Yeah. 300 people.
That'd be all right.
Yeah.
300 yapping dogs.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think we should definitely do that. I'm sure Sean would be game to put something together like
I think Sean's game to do anything.
Dude, we could do a whole deer expo of just
He
all the
told me.
trackers on it. Yeah.
Tell me you want to do an expo soon here in a hunt.
Yeah, I'm all about doing that.
I'd like to get it done.
That'd be great. So where you hunt mostly, guys? West Virginia, Ohio,
I'm from Meigs County, so I hunt.
Ohio.
Yeah, majority of high.
I'm from Mason County, West Virginia, so I hunt around there, but I've been trying to like expand. I just got back from South Africa on a hunt, and then past few years I've been trying to save up, and I went to Wyoming. I killed it was like 5 inches shy of what they call Boone and Crockett or citation antelope. I shot it at
Show it.
600 yards,
What kind of gun?
a 6.5 Creedmoor or 6.5 PRC.
So,
It was just a cheap build. I like to do the long range shooting, so I've got a 6mm Norma BR that I custom built with Douglas barrels up in Charleston, but it's too heavy. It's like 30 pounds.
don't want to carry it.
Now we've got like a joystick and stuff. I've shot a deer 980 yards.
Gee whiz. Jeez. Antelope, I was thinking more like Tim Wells hiding out in the water trough shooting with a blowgun.
Blowgun.
That'd be cool.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah. You guys ever been out west, like Midwest or anything, deer hunting?
No, I'd love to, but no, I have.
If you can ever make it to Illinois.
Oh yeah, that's where a lot of my dad's buddies go, and they bring back. They don't even hunt. Like they have like 150 acres behind their house, and they don't even hunt back here anymore because the bucks are so big up there. I would love to get out that way.
We went out for one weekend, and
Shed hunting.
there was 4 of us.
Shed
Only
hunting.
4 of us, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
And found 23.
We found 26 sheds and 14 deadheads, I
Days.
think, in a day and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
It walked a lot, but they weren't real big, but
Yeah. They
there
were
was a lot of it.
just everywhere.
Shows their population really, because I can't. I'll go out and I'm good to find 1 or 2, like
Yeah.
good hunt.
I haven't been to Illinois since 18, but before that, for about 6 or 7 years, I went every year, and sometimes twice a year. And I don't know, it's just crazy, man. You go out there and jump on a piece of property that you've never been on, and you just see big deer all the time, man. Drive around, just big deer everywhere. It's different. I mean, I think there's.
Numbers are higher.
I don't know if it's higher. It's just it's a lot more.
Easier to see them.
It's a lot more open land. Like you drive around, like in Ohio, there's just it's
Timber.
at least around here, there's a lot of timber, so you just can't see it all. Over there, it's just field after field after field, and these just little patches. It just seems like there's a lot more visible deer. I don't know if the numbers are really that much different, but a lot more visible deer.
So what did you do? Just hunt public land, or you?
So for the first couple years, I just actually got lucky, and a guy worked for a company, and they had some land out there, and we just took a camper out one year and hunted, and then they actually bought a piece of property that had a house on it, so they let us stay in that house, and we hunted. And then I've hunted a couple outfitters out there, which sucked. And then the biggest deer I killed out there, I went out to hunt on public land, but stay with this dude that I knew. And once I got out there, he was like, "Man, you're not going to make it to public land today. I got 100 acres out the road." He never told me about it until I got out there. And so he let me hunt that for a few days. I ended up killing big deer out there. But yeah.
He was testing you, seeing how serious you really were. And
Yeah.
all right. And he's like, I got you.
I
Yeah.
want you to mess up his spot.
Yeah.
Go in there and educate him.
So the first evening I went out there, I didn't really see anything. Second day, I didn't really see anything. Third day, I seen a couple big ones, and I texted him. I'm like, "Dude, like, you should come hunt this stand over here because I just seen a monster." So he started hunting with me. So he started hunting over there, and I went somewhere else. And actually, we both killed deer the same morning. I
Killed a big one.
I killed the big one that I seen a couple days before, and then he killed a nice one that morning too. Yeah,
Were y'all videoing too?
I killed my deer on film. Yeah, yeah,
Were you self-filming or?
self-filming. Yeah,
Was that the one that died in the bean field behind you?
yep.
You called me before it was while I was still kicking it.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Shaking pretty bad.
I'll send you the video. I'm talking to him on the phone, like chattering in my voice. I was like, "Man, I just killed a big one." He's like, "Really? What is it?" I'm like, "I think it's a mainframe 12." He's like, "Oh man." I'm like, "He's dead right in front of me, dude. I can see him."
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, 170 incher. Yeah.
He loves calling rub that stuff.
I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm working." I'm like, "Not me."
Got a plane ticket for Buck to head out.
You need a tracking dog.
Yeah, no doubt.
Call for the dog.
Yep. You guys got any hunts planned anywhere this year?
I don't know. I think that I've kind of pretty well set aside for tracking this year. But
You won't regret it, man.
I'll get up in the tree stand and it's the rut, and I get pictures all week, and my phone rings. I'm climbing back down, headed for the car. I'm gonna go track a deer. I just over and over and over. You get the phone call. Yeah, I plan on going hunting, but once the call comes in, and there's an available track. Man, it eats me up. I gotta go tracking.
And dude, I've
I'll
been telling him for the last couple of months. I'm like, I just hope I tag out in Ohio before the rut because I've got 3 weeks of vacation planned, and I just want to go track and video with him the whole time. Which I guess maybe you're gonna come and video and track some.
that's what I've been doing. That's what I was doing on Jared's track too. So
Mhm.
we got it on video, trying to compile some of that stuff together. But like I said, the SD card messed up. So
Yeah. Well, you go come up and run around with me some.
oh yeah, I'll bring the video camera and I can run it, or I've got GoPros too.
Teach me how to run it.
Yeah.
We'll put you on the track.
Yeah.
What kind of camera are you running?
The Canon GX50 or HFG50.
HF, yeah.
Yeah.
You've self-filmed too?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I run the fourth arrow arms.
Mhm.
And then I've also got a fourth arrow. I wanted that third person point of view too. So which it ended up being pretty cool footage. I haven't put it out or anything yet because now I just feel like we don't have a full YouTube video, a huge following or anything. I haven't put it out, but my buddy killed a nice one last year. And I've actually got the video of him pulling the bow back and his peep turned on him. So he's biting the peep, turning it around. I've got all that on video and
So it's mounted on the bow or
no,
facing you though, right?
right. So it's an arm. I screw it into the tree and then this arm will hang
so
out
it's
out here.
there, yeah.
And then it's actually covering him pulling his bow back and everything. And then I've got my camera video in the butt.
You run that on a GoPro?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got the little video showing him pull the bow back, which that was the hardest thing editing for me, was lining up those two videos to match perfect, arrow releasing the bow and then the buck actually getting hit. And
What do you use for editing software?
Filmora right now, but I was thinking about going to clip art or whatever that is. I was thinking about getting the Microsoft 365 account so that I could have all that stuff, but the Filmora has been nice. It's got AI tools and stuff that'll auto stabilize for me and everything.
Yeah, I've never messed with that.
In Spanish.
I've never really messed with that. I've used Adobe Premiere and After Effects and stuff, but I like Final Cut Pro the best on Apple stuff. You know.
Yeah, that's what I got too. Is the MacBook. It's
Oh, dude, if you got a MacBook, you might as well forget all that other software and just get Final Cut, dude.
really.
Yeah, you can synchronize audio. You can put it all together. That's yeah.
How much is it? Like,
It's cheap. It's $300 lifetime.
oh, lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm paying $100 a year, and like it's on a subscription.
Yeah, and that's $300 lifetime. Yep. Yeah, it's super easy to use. Like, I used to do some stuff with Adobe and hated it. And I think that just like anything else, like I learned on Final Cut, so I've just adapted to it, and I refuse to try to get like good at anything else. But
Well, you know how. You don't have to learn it.
yeah, why do it? But yeah. See, and then you can also get Apple Motion, which is kind of like similar to Adobe After Effects. You can do like different kind of animations and things like that.
Do you have a GoPro mount for your dog?
Yeah. So
Have you used it?
nah. So I put it on him for the track that I went with Jared, and then it just didn't seem super stable.
I don't think you could make it stable unless the only way I could think about it is if you could find a good like solid harness mount and then put like a 3-axis gimbal on it.
Yeah. I
If you could do that, it'd be
Buck
wow.
would probably be a good.
But then you got to worry about grass and briars and everything just ripping it out. Like,
Buck would be pretty good because he's not overly aggressive. You know, Bo is go, 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 dig, 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 dig. But Buck just kind of nonchalant walks along. He would be a little more stable, less bounce, I'm sure.
Well, so it wasn't even really that. It was like I couldn't get the harness. So the harness fits him.
Just falls.
just moves.
Right. It moves left and right. And
I mean, their skin moves. Like,
Duct tape.
yeah.
I've duct taped his eye once.
yeah.
He cut his eye open, sliced that on a track job, and he was done.
Or goggles, man.
He was crying. I mean, he was done. He was hurt. So I just put some gauze. You know, I wanted to finish the track job, and he did too. But he wanted to go. But as we went, any brush got near him, he would just, you know, it just bothered him. So I took gauze and I covered his eye up and I duct taped it, and we did that for about 3 weeks. And he wore duct tape like a like a pirate. He did it. He found a bunch of deer with duct tape.
Yeah. And then you got him those goggles.
Got him the goggles. He wore the goggles. He wore them about 1.5 miles one time.
How did you get him to? Well, I think we've talked about that a little bit. But how did you get him to start wearing them? Because I got some for Oscar, and he will not wear them.
Well, Oscar's a year old. Buck's 8. So this happened when he was about 5. And he'll do about anything I ask. You know, he's pretty trusting. And that comes with just doing it more and more. But he had that eye, and it bothered him. And I think he knew that the
Goggles helped him.
were helping
Yeah.
him. And he would reach up with his foot and wipe them off, and I'd tell him no and put them back on. And I just worked short distances, and I usually only use it in the grassy fields when he's going through that stuff. His long nose and that grass goes right through his eyes. And it's like that sawgrass, that wide-bladed grass. That's what gets him. But, yeah, he did pretty good. Now he's blind in one eye, but shoot, he still goes.
So for 2 new guys, if you guys had any questions for a veteran like Walter, what would it be?
Ooh, I think I've already interrogated.
You probably did interrogate him all day long, but
Should have had a camera with us.
yeah, I guess what's the most knowledgeable piece of advice he gave you?
Nothing.
No, I really like it, just everybody in general. Like I feel like I've taken so much, and
Well,
it's even hard to like.
Piece it together.
There's a lot.
Because, well, you've been talking to a whole group of people that have been doing it for a long time, so that's an unfair question for me, I guess, yeah.
I will say though that one good thing that he said that is awesome was peroxide. Like how peroxide, even like how to use it. So you might have just said, yeah, spray peroxide. It's going to bubble up on your blood. But the fact of like the reassurance to a hunter, like when a hunter picks it up and he's like, oh, this is blood. And you're like, that's not blood, buddy. And, you know, you don't have to be like that. Just spray it and there's your verification. Like,
Yeah, over and over.
Right.
So when I'm out there looking for blood, I'm looking for the smallest specks. And they'll tell you they haven't been down that trail. and I smell it. I'm always smelling the blood. I always smell the blood. That you'll see it. You can tell a lot. So over and over and over, the grossest thing is they'll tell you they ain't been down that trail, and I'll touch that stuff and I'll smell it, and it's tobacco juice.
Ugh.
You have been down here.
Yeah.
And I call them out on it. I tell them, there's tobacco juice right here. Well, we might have made it. We did make it that far. Yeah,
Yeah.
Stories always change.
it does.
Stories always
The
change.
dog is a detective. I mean, if you learn to read the dog, he will tell you the whole story. They can't hide from it. They'll show you where they walked. He'll show you right where they walked and everything.
So you guys been on very many tracks where you find them still alive? Done that yet?
I encountered one last year that it was for a youth hunter, and when we found him, he was still alive in his bed. But we
Did you get him?
yeah, we jumped him and pushed him to a creek, and then the youth was actually able to get another shot on him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a lot of fun.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was going to die right where he was at, but when we snuck up there, we could see his ties in the creek, and I kind of instructed the youth to go up there, and but as soon as he got over the crest of that creek bed, he jumped up, and the kid made a really good shot on a running deer. I was pretty impressed, but
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's always fun finding them that way.
It's always funner to shoot twice.
Shoot twice, yeah. Yeah, we got some pretty good footage of grabbing a hold of something.
I tracked one for a youth hunter once, and we tracked it a long ways. And the grandpa had been hunting with the youth hunter, and the grandpa stayed at the truck. We'd done tracked a long way, so he stayed at the truck, and the boy went with me. And we made it probably 400 yards or so up into a field, and there's a little brush pile. And Buck ran right up to the brush pile, and it's only about that tall. But the deer was right in the middle of that brush pile. And as I got up there, I seen it, and I backed up. It was gun season, youth gun season. So I said, come here, get up here. So he walks up there with the gun. I said, he's in this brush pile. I said, as soon as he gets up, or as soon as you see him, you can see the body, you shoot him. I said, now be ready to shoot more than once. He's probably going to get up. So he reaches up there, and he gets up there and aims. Nothing happens. And all at once he comes back, he looks at me, he says, that ain't my buck. I said, well, it's got to be your buck. That thing's wounded. It's got to be your buck. He says, my buck was bigger. I said, well,
They always shrink.
yeah. I said, well, it was later. You could just see sideways, you could just couldn't really see it looking at you. I said, well, let's go get your grandpa. So we went and got grandpa. And I told grandpa, I said, I think it's his deer. I said, in any event, it's wounded. We need to finish that deer, and then we'll know. So we just talked him into shooting. He didn't want to shoot it. So we talked him into finishing it because he's the only youth hunter. So we get him up there, and he shoots, and it jumps up and takes off running, and he shoots 2 more times. He says, that's my buck. That's my buck.
That buck fever kicked back.
Yeah, you could see it then. It was a nice one then, That was pretty neat. He was pretty excited.
Heck yeah. So let's see, we got less than a week now.
Yeah, 5 days, 6 days?
6 days. Next Saturday.
5 more and a wake up.
Yeah, exactly. You guys already been tracking. We ain't got to do it yet.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I will say though, about kind of going back to the how you got into it. I wish more people knew about backing out and the network that we do have, because I didn't know it. Like you said, I've been hunting since I've been 5 and 6 years old and had no clue. I was just gung ho to go chase them down. Well, which that guy that we tracked or Jared tracked that 170 inch at, he did really good about it. He said, okay, we're not finding anything, back out. Well,
Wait. Give it plenty of time. It's the best thing you can do is back out and wait.
Hunters get excited, but I think the more trackers there are, the more it's out there on social media, the more people start realizing that you can just make a phone call, with
Still need to
Walter.
wait.
Yeah,
You still need to give it.
it's not going to get any more dead.
That's right.
You might as well just wait.
Amish man told me that a long time ago.
Yeah,
it's not going to get any more deader. We can wait till morning.
We can wait, yeah. But I think it gets better. You're talking about Walter. You just called him and he knew the deer was still, going to be alive. You can make a phone call somebody, and they'll give you an idea.
And I tell them, I'm not about making the money. I'm about doing the best by the hunter, by the deer, by my dog. And if I feel like it's alive, I'm just honest. I got to be honest. I'm not out there to tell you, yeah, I can find your deer, give me the money. If I think it's alive, I'll tell you, don't waste your money.
Right. If you're determined, then we'll still cut.
And yeah, if you just need a peace of mind, some closure.
I said there's a lot of people that I think in the back of their mind, they know the deer's still alive, right? But the only way they're going to sleep at night is bring a dog or drone or something in. Just that little
I
extra
feel like
piece
you
of-
owe it to the deer to exhaust every effort.
Hey, speaking of that, back to the drone stuff. So I've already had 2 calls of pet recovery. So pet recovery is legal, and on both of those, I'm the same way. I'm not wasting my time driving down there to I'm not gonna steal your money from you. Like that's, I feel my time's very valuable too. So I'm willing to come help you. Well, I told those people it's like finding a needle in a haystack with all this leaf coverage.
Yeah, for sure.
Legitimately. And they lost a black chihuahua, like a little dog, and on a mountain,
Covered in trees.
right. And
not going to be easy.
no. And it's kind of a crazy story. So we go there, and I actually found the dog, I believe it or not, and I was showing them. I was like, there's a black spot. I'm like, that's either a black spot of a bear or it's your dog. And then you could see its ear flicker, and it flickered in the thing. So I marked the point, and my battery was dying, so I came back and then went back to it, and they were going to go up and find it. Well, this dog was new to them, so I guess it ran from them. They'd had it for a week or something like that, and it ran from them. Well, then they got lost on the mountain up there.
And you had to find them.
Yeah, then we had to find them. And it gets even better because I ride with this guy up on the mountain on the side by side, and trying to find him, because the best part is that I had Oscar with me, which, they were all over him. They loved him. And he tracks them down and finds them, and he's with them. So I got drone footage of them
With your dog.
with my dog. And they weren't going to let him go and get lost, so they carried him the whole way back. And then I went up on the hill on the side by side. I'm moving limbs and trees, and the guy, they were super nice people, and they were like, all right, I think after this log, this is going to be the next one. We're good, clear sailing. And it kept on going, next log, next log, next log. And then we finally got to a big autumn olive opening up there, and we turned around and came back down the mountain. When we were coming down the mountain, his brakes went out on that side by side,
Oh, man.
and the wives were already freaking out down there because the people were lost. So they called the fire department. And I'll also mind you that this is literally the first drone call I've ever been on,
That's the way it
at
works.
all. And the brakes went out, so I was already, when I seen him pushing the brake pedal a couple times, I'm already contemplating jumping out. I'm like, luckily I didn't, because the way he whipped it was on the right side, right where I was getting ready to jump out. But where I was already contemplating jumping out, the side by side flipped on its roof, and I land on the skid plate of the side by side, like
Yeah.
Joe, sitting on the roof, skid plate. And I'm already thinking the worst. I'm like, oh gosh, how am I going to get this heavy side by side off of him? So I jumped down, and luckily it literally puzzle pieced him. He was sitting in there, and I also had to I helped him up and helped him over to a tree, and he was like,
Holy cow.
he was like, where's my cane?
Tracking is dangerous. These drones.
Oh, man, yeah.
And then he was like, where's my cane? I got his cane, and then I ran down the mountain. And the fire department's all there, got their lights on and everything. And I get into the opening. I don't know if I was out of breath or I hadn't ate all day. And I just start puking. I'm trying to get words out to be like, we need somebody to get up there and, get them. Well, they thought I was one of the people that was lost. So they're like, we got one. Yeah. And I'm like,
You got me.
I'm the rescue team.
Oh, my.
Holy cow.
That's crazy, man.
That's when it happens. When you're just trying to help, when you don't think about anything happening, that's when it happens.
Yeah.
That's when it goes haywire.
Yep, for sure.
It can go haywire quick.
Yeah.
You got to kind of protect everybody out there when you're tracking. You got to kind of watch over them because you're the one that expects this stuff to happen. They don't. They're just thinking about a deer.
Well, there's a lot more danger to it than what people realize.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
I've had people fall off the hill into the water, clear underwater, and it was December. It was freezing cold. And I'm taking off his clothes and putting my clothes on him, you know. And we got a long walk. By the time we get back to the truck, his clothes, what he had left on was
frozen. Yeah.
shivering. And, yeah, the tracking job was over then.
Yeah, well, Walter got hospitalized once, too, so.
All over the one that attacked you?
Yeah, hit me in the mouth, broke my ankle in 3 places. I tracked, I don't know how many deer that year, but I tracked 20-some, maybe 30 on crutches.
On crutches. That was the same, no, it wasn't, was it the same year? You were on crutches when me and Unc wrestled my deer, right?
No, I was the year after.
It was the
It
year.
was a video. You were like, get him, boy.
Yeah. We walked up on my deer and it was still alive. And,
Here, I'll hold the camera.
and Unc grabbed a hold of its one side and it stood up. And Walter's like, I ain't gonna nothing to do with you guys. You go get him. So we dive on top of it. Yeah, I got this awesome picture of me like wrapped around it. Unc standing on one side and it's standing up.
Okay. We didn't have no weapon. We didn't expect it to happen like that.
No.
That's when it happens.
Yeah.
Always.
Expect the worst and hope for the best.
Yep.
Say prayers before you go.
Yeah.
Give your thanks when you're back.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
So what's your coverage area? What area are you working?
In Ohio or in West Virginia?
Both.
Oh, so I'm kind of just the tri-state, like, I kind of hit Ashland a little bit, but I'm Mason County. Like, I don't know.
How far from there do you go? Couple hours each way?
Yeah, I would like to stay under 3 hours, honestly, like, or at 3 hours or something like that. Like, I'm willing to travel, like, if need be, and I've got the time, but I hate to go farther than that. And then you actually want to put the time in with the hunter, or sometimes I'll go a little, just like me and Jared went, we didn't get back till 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. that one.
Yeah, we left. I left my house at 4 p.m. and got back 7 a.m. the next morning.
Yeah. And we were supposed to work the next day, so.
Yeah, I take off November. But I basically do work because I track every
single day.
track all night,
All over the
all
place.
day. It doesn't matter. I don't ever stop. I got a call one time. I was coming back from Connellsville, and it was midnight. And I'd been tracking all day. And I'm thinking about going home. And the guy said, I'm here at the airport road in McConnellsville. I said, I just passed you. I'll turn around. So I turned around, and I had Sonny. And he said, we marked the trail. So we started tracking down through there, and there was ribbons, and there was great lung blood. I said, man, that's great looking blood. This is awesome. We go down through there, and Sonny's pulling pretty hard. And he said, right down there's my last ribbon. That's where we stopped. Got to the last ribbon, and Sonny's pulling real hard, and I looked, and there laid the deer about 20 yards away. And I said, there's your deer. He says, wow, man, that dog's amazing.
You just stopped 20 yards short.
They was there, and it was good blood, but they just wasn't sure. They hadn't tracked a lot of deer, and they did the right thing backing out. When you don't know, back out. But yeah, that dog was amazing.
Yeah.
It was pretty neat.
Well, guys, I appreciate you guys coming. Hopefully, we'll get together, do some tracking. I love those Matrice 30 tees, so be interested to watch it fly. I'd like to fly it a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, you can fly it whenever, huh?
Yeah, I think I'm going to buy one, but I don't know if it'll be this year or not, but I would definitely like to have one. I do a lot of other things with videos and drones, so yeah.
I really enjoyed working with Oscar, too, and watching you lead Bo. I like watching Bo work, too. I can't really watch him as much. I like to be able to sit back and watch. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's great to meet you guys.
Yeah, you too.
I look forward to meeting Jared's dog, too.
Yeah, maybe when it's not 90 degrees and
Yeah.
He's a little bigger dog, so yeah.
They don't like the heat.
No, I don't like the heat. But, well, appreciate you guys coming. Hopefully, we'll get together. We'll do this again. We'll get some video footage, do some tracking together.
Remember BBD recovery, King Sky Dogs, Middle Ground,
Long Spur. Yep. they hopefully we all tag out before November so we can spend some time tracking. Yeah, be sweet.
I'll track no matter what. It don't matter.
But all right, guys, appreciate it. You guys have a good night. Thank you.